Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Cootie.
Miss Marie, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Rob. I am fantastic. How are you on this fine Monday morning?
It's Monday, and thank God so far, no glitches.
Knock on wood.
Unlike the past two Mondays, which I'll be honest with you, you know what? This is our third Monday. How can I say this to everybody that's listening? The past two Mondays have been a technological challenge, to say the least. There were so many bugs and so many things that went wrong. It's amazing we got on the air at all, especially on time. But it's hard to believe that this is already the third week since that initial fiasco. You know what? 3 weeks went by that quick.
I know. The time is flying.
It's crazy. It's almost September 1st. Who would have thought?
I know. And February only feels like 6 years ago.
Oh my, yeah. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Oh boy. So how was your weekend? We always start our Mondays with finding out how our weekends were.
Yep. Nope. Weekend was fantastic. Had a friend in from out of town. Had a great day touring around some of the more scenic mountain range areas of the Wasatch Front here in the Salt Lake Valley. So it was fantastic. The weather was beautiful. Good time. Great people. Had some good food, good drink. Cannot complain.
That sounds like a great time, I'll tell you. Well, the weather here is just as beautiful, I guess, because it's like fall, and I'm just, of course, jumping up and down. You can see that I have a T-shirt underneath my shirt because it's a little bit chilly. I had to turn off the air because it is daggone chilly, which I'm all for it. And I don't know how you guys can pick one mountain range over the other, because I've been to Utah many times, all over that state, and one's as beautiful as the other, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. I used to go, when we would go there, you know what we do? You know, of course, we're there for business, right? And we would rent a car, and I'm telling Miss Marie, we go up in the mountains. We drive, for hours. The people that I would go to the event with, and we loved it. We would open up the windows and the sunroof, and boom, off we go. Mm-hmm. And just what a beautiful thing. I can't imagine going there and staying in a hotel and looking at four walls. We're like, hell no, we're getting out and about. We're going to see this place. It's just too daggone beautiful. It's one of the best kept secrets around. I should get up and put a billboard up saying, go to Utah.
No, don't do that. We don't want everybody coming to Utah.
And you know what's so funny? Utah, of course, in a valley, has a unique beauty unto itself. And then you go down to St. George, and it is that red dirt, loose dirt, desert type rock formation area. But it's absolutely stunning as well, especially when the sun goes down and all those rocks light up.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, and then you get into the national parks in southern Utah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Zion National Park, beautiful with the trees and the rocks. But I'll tell you, my absolute favorite is Bryce Canyon National Park.
Been there?
It is the most unique looking landscape you will ever see. You talk about that red rock, and then they have these things, they call them hoodoos. They're like spires of rock that rise up out of the ground that, orange with white stripes. And I mean, it's just, it is unlike anything anywhere else in the United States.
And if you ever get a chance, all of the listeners out there, if you ever get a chance to go to Bryce Canyon, like she said, and go there when the sunset is coming up. Because as the sun sets, especially during the fall, the way it hits those rocks is just, it takes your breath away. It's a color scheme that you'll never see again in your life. And it is simply amazing. I think there's 6 really famous national parks in Utah, and they're close together. And they all have to do with the rock formations and the canyons. And it's hard to believe, Miss Marie, that the ocean formed that. I mean, that part of the country was that was all formed by the rushing waters going around them.
Well, Salt Lake City, the valley that it sits in,
Right.
once upon a time was all underwater.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, where I live on the side of the mountain, we have it's called the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. It's just across the street from me, and that was kind of like the beachfront of the water. So my house where I live used to be underwater once upon a time, not by a lot, but still underwater. So
it's amazing, isn't it? Because you think about it, look how much distance is between you, where you are right now, and the California coastline,
mm-hmm.
and the Gulf of Mexico. That is a lot of water, girl.
Yep, sure is.
I mean, I can't even fathom that.
I know. So today's episode of the MLM Solution is brought to you by the Utah Board of Tourism.
There we go. Yes, it is. But you know what? What a great commercial. If we're going to have one, the state of Utah is a great one to have, I'll tell you, because if you guys ever get a chance, go to Utah. It is one of the matter of fact, Miss Marie, I would say that Utah is the gateway to beauty, because if you go north, you start getting into Wyoming, Idaho and Montana. Mm-hmm. And guys, if you've ever got a chance to go to that, all the way over to the state of Washington, I've been all up through all of that. And the state of Oregon, the state of Washington, all the way over to the Dakotas. I would say that Montana is the end. The Dakotas are unique unto themselves, especially South Dakota is much like Idaho and stuff. North Dakota, not so much. It starts to get into barren land. It is built on its own way, but it's not like the other states. I would say from Montana on west out to Washington State is just absolutely a postcard, a living postcard as you drive through them.
Well, and even if you continue north on up into Canada, there's some amazing landscapes there as well. So.
Oh, yeah. I've been there too. I live 30 miles from the Canadian border, so we went there quite a bit, as you can imagine. And we had a lot of Canadians come down to where I lived in the States to go shopping because it was cheaper. And met a lot of nice Canadians. In Iceland, believe it or not, I worked with a lot of Canadian military and met a lot of the Canadian. There was a lot of guys that I worked with that were dating Canadian women. On the weekends, they go up there or vice versa. Nice people, man.
That's because they could adapt to the cold in Iceland. The Canadians are used to the cold, so.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It was colder, believe it or not, in North Dakota than it was in Iceland. Yeah. Who would think, huh? It was crazy cold. I don't know if I said it before, and we won't take up too much time. We're only 8 minutes in, but there was if I already said this, don't let me repeat it. Just say, Rob, you already told us that story. But there was two temperatures I saw in North Dakota I never thought I would see. One was 99 below, and another one was 100 below. And you had to wear either a scarf or these masks they gave you, or you had to cup your hands, because if you breathed the cold when you went outside, it would freeze the moisture in your lungs and you'd get pneumonia. That's how cold it would get. And but you say, oh my gosh, there's no way. Yes, I never thought I would see it. Because I've watched TV. As I was getting ready to go to work, I'd look and say, okay, how cold? I mean, you might as well just dress because it's going to be cold. Because you had 9 months of winter. But anyway, you have 6 weeks where it averaged between 20 to 70 below. And that's the wind that comes whipping down out of Canada. The northeastern, what do they call them? I forget what they call them. But the wind would come down from the Arctic, North Arctic, or Arctic North, and it would sweep across Canada and go all the way down to South Dakota and just rip across the Dakotas and Minnesota. And that wind would take the temperatures, if you were already 20 below, 30 below, it would take them down to 70 and 80 and sometimes 100 below. Can you believe that crap?
Yeah, there's a point where cold is just cold, and no.
Man. Anyway, I had a good weekend. I actually relaxed. I didn't do a whole lot.
Well, good for you.
Yes, and I went to the gun range, and I shot 3 very nice pistols, and I still have it. the guy I went with goes, dude, that's crazy how accurate you are. I said, well, that's the military training. But you got to realize I retired in 97, and it was years, well, how can I say? It was probably 92, 93, the last time I shot, a gun, because I didn't have to be proficient later on. But man, and that was, you always had to carry your card with you in the military. I don't know if they still do. Showing your accuracy rank, I guess. I don't know how to put it, but they had different levels, expert and blah, 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 blah. But I still got it, Miss Marie, even with my eyesight.
Well, there you go. Got that muscle memory going for you.
Well, it took me the first 2 rounds, and then after that, I got in the groove. And once I got in the groove, girl, I was nailing it. So, and it was relaxing, believe it or not. But Miss Marie, you would not believe I was talking to the pit boss, and he said, we are busy from the time we open to the time we close in the shooting range. And Miss Marie, there were people of all ages, but most of the people there were 50 and above. First time gun owners.
Interesting.
Yes. Did you know there's almost 6 million guns sold in the last 3 months?
Well, I know there's been quite the uptick, but I mean, if you look at what's been going on in our country, I think a lot of people are concerned for their safety, and they're preparing to, be able to protect and defend their homes and their families. And I personally can't blame them. I don't think it's paranoia. Better to be prepared than not. You'd rather have the preparation there and never need to use it than to be caught with your pants down, so to speak.
That's right. Well put. And that's a subject for another day. And I may discuss those things on my own someday in the future. As if I need to add something else to my schedule.
I was going to say, in what spare time are you going to do this?
That's true. That's true. I agree. That's the reason why I said that. But anyway, today we have a really important subject. And Miss Marie, I'm glad that you had a great weekend. It sounds like it was an awesome weekend. And I'm very happy that I also got to, not as nice as you, but at least I got, there's podcast 33 on there twice. Well, let's take care of that. We can't have that, Miss Marie. Let's fix that real quick.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of repetitiveness, but hey, while you're fixing that, let me just again encourage our audience, if you would please like, comment, share on our various social media platforms. We, of course, are here to serve you, to help you, your team, your organization become more successful. And the more we can get the word out, you can help us with that. We can help you grow your business, because you're going to hear things here that you're not going to hear anywhere else. As we always say, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us at the MLM Solution. Be sure to click that little bell so you get the notifications. You'll know when we're going live, or at least get the notification that there's some new material there available for you to review. And of course, give us a thumbs up. If you like what you hear, you understand the points we're making, feel free to drop a comment with any questions you may have. Share your personal experience with us. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, you can find us on all the social media platforms by using hashtag the MLM Solution. That's hashtag the MLM Solution. And then find us on the World Wide Web with our website, themlmsolution.net. And Rob's been working really hard on that recently. There's a ton of great information out there available for you to download, to learn from, links, information. Oh my goodness, there's just a wealth of valuable stuff there for you. So go check that out. That's themlmsolution.net.
And you did that wonderfully as usual. And thank you for the kudos on the website. The new page is up today, Miss Marie. I put it up this morning.
Awesome.
And I got to give kudos to where it is deserved. And Miss Marie has had an input on that. Miss Marie, I don't know if you know, but I did probably 98% of what you suggested.
Awesome.
And, thank you for that input. She caught a lot of things. As I build and design the websites, everything kind of blends together. And I need a keen set of eyes to find the mistakes, and she found them. I promise you. But you did a wonderful job highlighting those. Thank you. You're really good with that little tool there and the screenshots.
Well, I do what I can.
Well, not many people know how to do that. That's the reason I was very impressed. So it made my job a whole lot easier. So with that being said, guys, go to the website, and what you'll notice, it's very sparse and to the point, and there's a menu directly underneath of the crowd picture, and you're going to find those links very valuable, and they will guide you across the website. And if you find some mistakes, and I know there are some more because the website is quite large and it's being totally revamped. And I know that there's some other things that in my spare time, Miss Marie, I am working on that. She knows how many hours I put in. And unfortunately, even though you guys may see some mistakes on there, it's because some of the coding, anybody that does websites knows that sometimes it's simple and straightforward. Sometimes it could be a pain in the butt. So even though the site looks simple, the coding and the links that ties everything up, the security and all that, can take some time. So I am diligently and aggressively working my way through each and every page. For the most part, Miss Marie, I would say we're probably 80%, 82%, maybe a little bit higher, because I am going to delete some pages. We're not going to use all of them. So it will be very shortly completed, and a lot of it got done. But I did a lot of tracking put a lot of tracking code in the site, so I know what in the world's going on, because I can't make changes if I don't know the numbers, right?
Yep, and it's all about the numbers.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was going to say. Speaking of numbers, guys, what we're going to be talking about today, I know we got sidetracked a little bit there, but hey, it's Monday and we want to ease into our show. We always want to take time to find out how Marie's weekend's going, how my weekend's going. We hope that yours went as well. And we ease into Mondays because Mondays have been such a challenge for us. And you know what? I would say, Miss Marie, Tuesday through Friday, we pretty much, I think Friday we goof off a little bit, but we get right into it, and you got to have a little variety. You can't always just jump in with both feet. It's like you're jumping in a pool full of ice water. Not a good idea sometimes.
No.
And it's Monday. People kind of ease into it. And you know what? We're going to be going into this format in the near future anyway, where we're going to kind of continue to evolve and take on a little bit more of a talk show environment and provide content at the same time. Because, Miss Marie, we're going to be pushing people more and more towards our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and our website, and mainly our website, because all of our podcasts are archived on each one of those platforms. And all of our material, all the free gifts and all of that are going to be available there. So in future episodes, we're going to have links where they can go and get the free gifts. Matter of fact, guys, if you go to the website, themlmsolution.net right now, you will see that there are 3 free gifts there, very powerful gifts. And from now on, we'll be promoting those gifts each and every episode so that you guys can go there. They're powerful. But we're not going to get into that now because today's subject is your best support and your biggest roadblock to network marketing success is. And I wish I could have somebody raise their hand so they could tell me the answer. But for all of you on the podcast, I'm going to say it again because the people can see it on the ticker through the video. And then once again, and all of you on the podcast, go to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch the video, obviously, of our episodes. And thank you for everyone that does go there. But anyway, it's your best support and your biggest roadblock to networking success is. It is in the form of a question. Because once again, if you all were out in the audience, I would ask you to raise your hand to give me an answer. Miss Marie, do you know what the answer is by any chance?
My best guess, if you're looking for the combination of best support and biggest roadblock at the same time, I'm gonna go with friends and family.
I would say that is correct. Ding, 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 ding. We have a correct answer. With that, we're going to do our gong so we can get into our show. All right. That's the official start of our show, and she is absolutely correct. She wins the prize. Well, I don't know what that prize is yet, but we'll figure it out and get it to her. All right. With that being said, yes, in fact, your friends and family can be your biggest support, or they can be the biggest roadblock to your success. You're going to have one section on one side and another section of your life on the other side. In other words, family could support you and your friends could say you're a nut, and vice versa. So we're going to talk about that because, Miss Marie, as you know, these people can have a huge impact on what you do in your life, not just network marketing, but they can say, going to college, what do you want to do that for? Improve yourself. What do you want to do that for? Listen to Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. Who are they? What are you doing listening to that stuff? You know, you have people that will do that because, you know, Miss Marie, your best friends don't want you leaving them. Did you know that?
Well, change is hard, right? We have a hard time changing ourselves, and we struggle when the people around us change. You know, you get in a relationship rut with friends, family, whoever it may be. You're used to an interaction following a certain course, and suddenly someone's going to change. Whoa, what?
Yes. Well, do you know how many relationships have been ruined because the other changed and the other one did not?
Probably a lot. I would say the divorce rate is as high as it is because, you know, one half of the relationship is changing and the other half is looking to, you know, create that stasis, stay in the same state all the time, right? We're not tracking together anymore. It creates difficulties.
Yeah, it creates big difficulty. If you got one that says, you know what, we need to move forward, and the other one says, I like where I am, you got a problem. Big problem, you know? Or how many times have you heard someone say, you know, things have changed, you know? Or you're not the same person. That means what? That somebody in that relationship has changed, and there's a great divide, as they call it. And guess what? It happens in business too. Look, here's the thing. I have personally experienced this when I really started pursuing business and success. Okay. And to be honest with you, Miss Marie, it wasn't really the cars and all that. I mean, that was kind of cool. And I did that for a while, but I've never been into that because I knew that if I was successful, I would get those things. So that was kind of like, okay, you know, that really, you know, I put pictures up and this and that, and I'm not against that. I'm not saying that at all. I do believe in the power of perception and things like that. I really believe the brain has no limits, although we do limit ourselves with it. But the thing is, you know, people change. I wanted to change. I wanted more out of life. You know why? Because I knew I had talent, and I wanted to use that talent. I did not want to go to my grave saying, man, I really should have done that. You know, I was really good at this, or I was really good at that. And then knowing that I was good, not great. I didn't consider myself to be one of the greatest, but I knew that I was talented. I mean, somebody that is great at drawing can look at it and say, well, that's pretty good. Now, they may be a little hard on themselves. Like my wife is a really good painter, and I tell her that all the time. She's like, well, I'm okay. Well, you know, my job is not to get her to believe how good she is, because she doesn't see herself that way. She sees the flaws and not the greatness in it, you know? And her dad was a great artist. And I actually have them hanging up in their house. I mean, she's really good. So the thing is that I know that I've got talent, but I didn't want to waste it. And I don't know if you have stories like that or not, but here's the thing, Miss Marie, as I was pursuing getting better in the areas that I knew I was good at, my friends didn't want to do that. They were working at company XYZ and loved it and had no desire to change. And my gosh, I don't want to upset the apple cart because I've got a good thing going here. Nothing wrong with that. You know, kudos to them. I think to this day, they have a really nice life. But you know what? I had different views. I had different goals. I had different desires. And I didn't want to put my friendship over top of that. I didn't want to say, well, you know, I love this guy so much and we shared so much in our life that I think I'll just put all my dreams on the shelf. They're not that important. I just want to hang out with him. No, he can't have kids. He doesn't keep me warm at night. I have somebody that does that. So I need to pursue my dreams because I have something that I can share my life with. You get my point? I can't share my life with him. I don't go home with him. I don't sleep with him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do my clothes. So why would I attach my future to him? He's my friend, not my spouse. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and absolutely. And I think that's a great example when you're in your younger years, when you're in your 20s, you come out of college, you come out of school, you begin working in the workforce, you have your friends going on. And I think a great example of change that impacts a lot of people, although you may not realize it necessarily, is when you find that special someone, the person who's going to be your spouse. All of a sudden, priorities change. You're not hanging out with the friends as much. You're not doing the same activities. Your time and attention are being diverted somewhere else. And that can cause conflict in those relationships. It's like, well, Rob, we were supposed to, go hang out at Joe's bar this weekend and watch the game. What?
Yeah.
You didn't show up. Where were you, man? What's going on? You're blowing us off. What's the matter with you?
Exactly.
Like,
well done.
I had a date. I went on a picnic. I did,
Exactly.
some other things that were of more interest to me. So
that's right.
You find that your focus, the path that you're on changes, the people around you change, and it's not that you think less of former friends, classmates, whatever it is. It's just you're dividing. Your paths are going in different directions, and you're not going to be able to maintain that closeness. You can certainly still maintain a relationship. You're not throwing away those relationships. They just change.
There it is. And that's exactly the point we're making, guys. You say, why are you talking about relationships? We're talking about business. And yes, that's true. But guess what? The reason we're talking about relationships is because of the power they have on your thought process, on your desire to pursue your goals, guys. That is why we're talking about this. We all have grown up with friends that we consider lifelong friends. And I'm going to tell you something, you're not going to be successful if you allow that relationship, that friendship, whatever it is, to hold you back. What are they going to say? They're going to be mad at me. I'm moving forward and they're staying back here. You know what? If I do this, we're not going to have things in common anymore. And I'm not going to have time to go fishing and hunting and hanging out the bar to watch the games and stuff. My time's going to be diverted to something else. It may not be a female or a male that you're pursuing. It may be the knowledge. It may be the success. And if you're in the network marketing business, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to have friends who are going to say, Rob, you're crazy. Do you know what network marketing is? It's a pyramid, dude. What's wrong with you? You're crazy. And you'll have some other friends. Well, if you pursue that, we're not friends anymore because I don't want to have anything to do with anybody who's taking advantage of people. I mean, you'll hear things said like that from friends who are concerned about you, and they are concerned. They're not saying that to be mean. What there is that their misunderstanding of the business model, their preconceived idea of what network marketing is about is coming to the surface, and they will influence you if you allow them to do that. You have to be a strong person. I don't care if you're pursuing network marketing or not. Let's say it's a franchise. Rob, do you realize how much a McDonald's costs? Dude, that's $1 million. You'll be in debt for the rest of your life. What's wrong with you? You'll be working 20 hours a day. That is crazy, dude. What they're doing, they think they're being a friend and saving you. What they're doing is they're holding you back because you may be okay understanding that, I may be working 20 hours a day for the first year. That's part of the price I got to pay. You know what? Hey, I understand the business model. And you know what? I'm willing to overcome the negativity that's attached to that business model. You got to decide what you want out of your life, and you got to be willing to go after it regardless of what your friends and family have to say, because they could be your biggest obstacle. They could be your biggest roadblock. Out of love, they're trying to quote unquote save you. Look, every great entrepreneur had people that said they loved them try to convince them not to pursue their goal or their dream. Miss Marie, Bill Gates, okay? There's story after story about when he started, how people told him he was crazy. I remember this. Everybody is pretty much familiar with the Thomas Edison story. How many times do you know that his family literally went to the local doctor to have him committed. He was so close to being, I think, like, I don't forget how many times he tried it. I think it was 1,000 or something like that. It was 1,100 times or something like that, wasn't it? It was some crazy number. I love history, and I used to know the number. I can't believe I don't remember. But let's say it's 1,100. He was like at 1,097. He was like 3 or 4 tries from being, from it going, ta-da, hey, it works. And they came, read the story, go back and look at the history books. You will see what I'm talking about. Guys, they thought he was freaking crazy. You got to realize, well, they didn't even know what that gas was that the filament needed. They didn't even understand what he was trying to do. It made no sense. Everybody was using candles. They thought it was witchcraft. They thought it was voodoo. Did you know that? They thought he was a nut.
Yep. Well, and it's one of my favorite Thomas Edison quotes is he never referred to all those failed attempts as failures necessarily. He's like, I found 1,097 ways not to light a light bulb.
You're right. That's exactly what he said. He said, I didn't fail. I just found out ways that didn't work.
Yep.
And that's true. If you say, look at it, that's not a twisted way to look at it. That's a very realistic way. Okay, that way didn't work. Okay. And he wrote all those down. Do you know that?
He was a great record keeper because once you're
There's
500 tries in, you got to remember what you did before. That
exactly. I think I might have done that before. Let me look. Yeah, but he wrote them all down so he wouldn't make the same mistake.
Yeah, that's accurate. And what we're talking about here, really, it applies to any business.
Yes.
To pursue starting a business of any kind whatsoever, you're going to have your supporters, you're going to have your detractors.
Yes.
The thing is, in the network marketing business, I think it's magnified a little bit because there is a perception in the industry by people who don't know any better that it is some type of scam or pyramid scheme or whatever. And we've talked about that in previous episodes, so we don't need to go into that in detail. But people simply don't understand, and they may not necessarily take the time to understand, nor do you want to spend the time trying to explain it to every single person because you just want to get off and start building your business and becoming successful and achieving your goals, right?
Right, exactly. And the people that are being a roadblock, they're doing it out of love. They don't understand that they're trying to save you. They don't understand that they're being an impediment. They believe that they're supporting you by telling you all the things that are wrong and all the things that could go wrong. And that's true in any business model. It doesn't matter. If you go on a path of success down any road, you're going to have challenges. That's what makes you stronger. That's what it is, a sharpening process. The people that make it, if you want to use that term, are willing to pay that price. But guess what? They become better and better and better. Why? Because anytime you fail, you become better if you don't quit. Well, it's no different in this business. The business model's been around, as you guys know, for 60 plus years. It's created success at all different levels. There's millions of success stories over the course of the history of network marketing. All the evidence is there, despite what your friends and family say. They, out of love, are trying to save you from yourself. And you're saying, I get it, guys. I love you too. And I appreciate your concern for me. But if you really looked at this is a great business model. There's a lot of positives in this business model. I think I can do something special with this. Okay. And you have to have the strength. You have to have the backbone to stand up on your own beliefs and to say, okay, you know what? Enough is enough. You guys have told me. I appreciate it. I love you guys for that input, but I'm going to move forward. You either got to support me or you don't. And Miss Marie, there's a line in the sand with every business. It's not just this business model where you have to say, okay, you know what, guys, I'm done listening. It's time for action. You're either going to support me or you're not. And here's where the rubber meets the road, Miss Marie. If your family or your friends say, well, if you do that, I'm not going to support you. And you got to sit down with yourself, look into yourself and say, am I going to do this? Am I serious? Am I going to pursue this? When I ran into this business model, I immediately saw the potential and I never guessed it. I did not care what anybody else said. I did not care. Of course, that's a type of person I am. I don't care what people have to say. I'm going to do what I want to do. If I feel that it's safe and it's something I want to do, and I feel that it, of course, legal and ethical and not going to hurt people, I'm going to do it. I don't care what anybody else has to say. Now, when I was married, now I made that decision when I was single, but when I was married, I did listen to the input of the wife. Okay. And if she said, hey, I really don't feel comfortable with this because of my love for my wife and because of my family, I was totally a family guy. I did not want to put my family's financial future at risk for something that I did not know how long it was going to take, how much it was going to cost. That's a real burden. And I did not want to put my family through that. So what I did when I became single is like, okay, get out of the way. Here I come. I'm going straight down the path. And I had those goals in my heart the whole time I was married, but I did respect my wife. And if you want to say she was a roadblock, I guess you could, because that would apply, but it wasn't because she was mean. She was very gentle about it and said, here's my input. Here's my viewpoint. I really don't feel comfortable with this. And I was in the military at the same time. So, there was a double-edged sword going on there. I think I made the right decision by waiting, and when we ended up going our separate ways, man, I just took off business-wise and just exploded, because I was a horse in the gate, just waiting for that bell to go off, or the Derby bell. And off I went.
Absolutely. And one of our viewers here, Mark, just dropped a comment. He said, you'll know who your true family is when you take a leap of faith and they support you no matter what. And that's absolutely accurate. You're always going to have those that are your fans. And this is going to apply no matter what you do. It can be a job you're going to take or whatever. The people who care about you may disagree. It's like, oh, that job's beneath you, or, oh, that job's going to be too hard for you. And you have to know who in your inner circle, whose opinion you can respect as well. Now, when I got into network marketing, similar, I had people that were all for it. I had people that were like, oh, that's a scam or whatever. And for the most part, I knew what I wanted to do and I was just going to pursue it. Most of the people, I'm like, my blinders on, I'm not paying attention to that. The one or two people, though, whose opinions I truly valued, I would take the time to say, okay, so explain to me why you think this is a problem. What is it about the industry that you see is an issue that's going to be harmful for me? Explain this to me. So I was open to hearing it, but from a very limited source.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about who you're taking that input from and whether or not they're actually qualified to give you that kind of input either. If it's my cousin who's working as a grave digger telling me that I can't build a business in the health and wellness industry, I'm like, nah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he has the understanding of the industry, the business model, how it works. You have to understand people's perspective too. So when it comes to the close friends and family, you want to be open to some of what they have to say, understand where they're coming from, but also be able to, draw that line of, okay, that's great. That's your opinion. I appreciate it. I understand it. But this is what I'm going to do because it is my choice, my life, my business, my goals, and this is what's important to me. And you got to go.
There it is. And in a nutshell, basically what it boils down to, Miss Marie, you got to have the guts, you got to have the spine to stand up on your own and say, I'm going to pursue my goals. It's my life. I appreciate the input. And once again, it comes down to either you're going to give me the support or you're not. And the true test of a winner is when you don't get the support. It's great when you get the support. Your confidence goes up. There's enthusiasm. You're excited that your loved ones understand what you're doing and they're supporting you. But the real challenge in anything in life comes when you don't have that support. And it's just you. And you have to look yourself in the eye and say, am I going to do this? Do I have what it takes to make this happen? And that's where the great satisfaction came in for me. Because once I became single, it was just me. I could make all the mistakes I wanted. I was the one that was going to pay the price. And that was okay with me. I was willing to pay that price. Okay. The thing is that I really didn't have any roadblocks. So if I was going to fail, it was going to be because I was lazy and I wasn't willing to do what was necessary to get to the goals I wanted. Right. So it kind of scared the crap out of me because there wasn't any boundaries. There was no roadblocks. Okay, so it all rested on my shoulders. That really motivated me, as you can imagine, because I did not want to fail. Now, on the other side of the thing, look, I told people in my downline, I said, look, you know what? When you're out there building a business, I said, Rob, how do I work with the family? How do I tell them? What do I tell them? I said, look, you just got to sit them down as a family unit and say, all right, guys, here's what we're going on. We talked about this before. I'll touch on it a little bit. But whether your family or your friends are going to support you or not, you got to sit them down, and not your friends so much, unless they're over at your house every day. And if they do, there's something wrong with that, to be honest with you. But anyway, the thing is that you got to sit your family down and say, all right, guys, here's what's going on. And just tell them what the commitment is, what your goals are, what time frame you have for that success or limited success, whatever the case may be. And you've got to tell them everything. You got to lay down on the table, and you're going to say, you got to, at the end, say, I really would love to have your all support. It would mean a lot to me, but it's not going to stop me. If you guys don't want to support me, if you guys feel that I'm being silly here, or I'm going off on a tangent that you don't care for, guess what? Dad is still going to pursue it. It's worth pursuing because the payoff is too good. Okay. And you guys have got to trust me. I've evaluated this thing from top to bottom. I've searched my heart. I really feel we could do something special here, and I would like to have your support. Once again, Miss Marie, if your family, it's going to come down to one side or the other. They're either going to support you or they're not. If they don't support you, that's when you're going to find out what you're really made of, because you're going to have to step up. And especially if you have a spouse that's not crazy about what you're doing, they're going to magnify every mistake you make. They're going to magnify that you're not making money right away. They're going to magnify the hours you're putting in, okay? And you've got to be strong. You've got to stand up and say, regardless of the input, I'm going to stay focused. I'm on a good path. Right, Miss Marie?
Yeah, I think the saddest thing I see is people who get involved in the industry. They've taken a look at it. They see the potential for the income, the lifestyle, the impact they can have in people's lives. And it's almost like they get cut off at the knees before they've even started, because they start hearing those negative voices happening, and they use that as an excuse to quit, or they use that as the excuse to fail and just say, well, this isn't going to work for me, before they've even really put in the real effort, before they've given it a real shot to try to succeed. It's almost like they give up too soon. And I think that is such a sad thing. And to me, that is the biggest roadblock in network marketing, is the people that come in, they have the fire, they have the passion, and they get distracted by that first negative voice that hits them.
Yes.
And they stop and they freeze.
Yeah, that's a really great point. You're right. And I didn't, that's something that I forget to bring up sometimes in our conversations, but that's a great point, because that's exactly what happens. The first negative, and the good people are gone. And you think, what in the world happened? What, if you could get to talk to them, you would ask them, you were doing some good. Where'd you go? What happened? Why did you change? And I've seen that happen, and I've had it happen. So I totally get what you're saying. And you're just like, are you kidding me? Right?
Yep. Well, and that's again why we're so encouraged, once you've joined a network marketing business, to be plugged into the events that are happening, whether they're team meetings, regional meetings, the conventions. You want to stay around that fire. You want to stay around those passionate people who are having success, who are on the same path that you are, who can provide the support, the input, just the encouragement that you may need to keep going. Because again, like any business, not every day is rainbows and unicorns, right, Rob? I mean, it becomes a slog. There are the days when you don't want to get out of bed and do those consistent, correct business building activities that you need to do to build your business. but you have to find a way to do them anyhow. You need the mental fortitude. You have to have the persistence to keep going and keep building towards your dreams. It's not always going to be a fun time. There are aspects. You pick any job. I mean, all of us have done some work at some point, whether it's babysitting, working in a grocery store, fast food, whatever it is. Believe me, you cannot tell me you loved 100% of every job that you did.
Yeah.
There's always something that's, you hit that point and it's just like, oh, I hate dealing with that, but it has to be done. I mean, I'll go back to the whole babysitting thing, and maybe you didn't babysit. Maybe it was taking care of a younger sibling or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, fun to play with them when they're happy and everything, but man, when they're cranky, don't want to deal with that. Uh-oh, dirty diaper? Well, you don't want to ignore that. Somebody's got to deal with it, right? It's just, there's crap in every job you do.
Great points and well put points, because that is exactly right. My biggest challenge was the calls, and I got really good at it. People were amazed at how good I was at the calls, but it was because of repetition and practice. And then, boy, I dreaded it. Oh my gosh. Like we talked about last week, that first call was the hardest. And sometimes I just had to pick it up. And there were times I was frozen, just like anybody else. I'm not Superman. I'm human. I have emotions. And you would think, and of all the times that I had done it, that it would be second nature to me. But Miss Marie, there were days, like you said, that I just like, I dread picking that phone up. I mean, and there was days I stunk, and I would fight through it. There was days where I only did 3 calls instead of 10. There was days I did 7 instead of 10. But the thing was, I was consistent, and that momentum picked up. And that synergy. There were more days where I did 10 and above than there was where I did 10 and below. So the averages were in my favor, and I knew the numbers. But the thing is, there were days, how could you lie? You can't. I'm not a machine. I'm not going to have a great day every day. And you're right. There was days I dreaded. I was like, oh my gosh. There was days I wanted to take a break, Miss Marie, but I couldn't afford to slow down the momentum. There was days I got up and I felt bad and I really wasn't in the mood. It's like, man, I don't feel like talking to nobody. I don't feel like doing this. And I'd go over and I'd look at my numbers and like, oh, you know what? I've really got this thing rolling. I cannot afford to slow down. And, you got to be honest. You got to tell people the truth. You got to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you nailed it, and there's just going to be days where you're going to have to change that diaper and you're not going to like it, but it's got to be changed because the alternative is not good
for anybody.
That's right. So that's a great analogy. It is like changing a diaper. You hate doing it, but you get up and you're just like, I got to freaking do it. And there were days, Miss Marie, where I didn't do anything. I mean, I literally did nothing. And, but the boy, if I did it on Tuesday and I did nothing for whatever reason, and there were times because I was sick, it wasn't like I just woke up one day and said, screw it, I ain't going to do it. If I was sick and when you're younger, even when you're sick, you have a lot of energy. But if there was days I was like, oh man, I feel like crap, and all you wanted to do was just lay around, you didn't have any energy or focus. Those were days where I didn't do anything. But if I did it on Tuesday, Miss Marie, you know what I did? I picked it up on Saturday, and I really didn't like working on the weekends. And even though I didn't work per se, what I'm saying is I didn't go after business as hard on Saturdays and Sundays as I did Monday through Friday. You know what I'm saying? I still put work in, don't get me wrong. But instead of putting maybe 7 or 8 hours into it, I would put maybe 3 or 4 and do the fun stuff, if you will. I mean, I would still contact people, but it was more follow-ups, and the follow-ups were fun to me. But I would also do the paperwork. And honestly, a lot of times I would put my paperwork off for 2 or 3 days and go back, not the scale of ambition, not that. I'm talking about, going to the back office and downloading it, and going through it and things like that. Because I knew I could catch up, and what I would do, I don't know about you, but every Saturday, because the companies I was with, normally on Fridays is when they tallied everything up. Does that make sense?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Not Saturday, on Fridays, Saturdays, because Sunday started the new cycle. That's what it was. So on Saturdays, like in the afternoon before they tallied, I would download my week, activity, and I would have a running week so I could compare one Saturday to the other. I thought it was Friday, but it was actually Saturdays. I can't think of a company that did it on Fridays except for the ones that were, the ones that paid on a weekly basis or bi-weekly did them on Fridays because they crunched the numbers and cut the checks on Saturday and Sunday. Does that make sense?
That does. Yep.
And I think that's where my confusion came in. The ones that pay on a monthly, their volume cycle went through to Saturday at midnight, and then it started fresh on Sunday for the next week. So that's what I would do. And I mean, you could put that off until, every couple, 2-3 days, I'd go in and print it out and look. But on Saturdays is when I really evaluated the whole week and looked at where my weak points were. Because sometimes if you're really on a roll, it doesn't do any good to do it every 2-3 days because things are changing on Thursday and Friday. So, kind of like, but anyway, I really dreaded sometimes doing it. I love this business. I love doing almost every facet of it. The recruiting part's the funnest part for me. But like you, I'd get wore down, and changing that diaper just sucked.
Yep. There are always going to be those aspects to it, of course. But that, we just have to be in the correct mindset. You have to realize that, the people who love you and care about you ultimately are going to support you, especially if you take the time to explain to them why you're doing what you're doing, what your goals are, and how much you appreciate their support. Now, do they have to agree with you 100%? Absolutely not. Do they have to get involved in your business? Which is probably the biggest fear that they have is, oh, you're going to try and suck me into this stuff. No, don't do that. Keep it professional. Keep your personal, and keep your business. You can definitely separate the two. And that's where
that point.
Yeah, that's where I say, I avoid talking with friends and family about the business unless they ask about it.
That's right.
The only time I tend to talk about the business or quote unquote share my pitch with friends or family is when I'm first getting started and I'm just trying to get it down and get it to roll off my tongue so that I'm communicating my message well. But I always preface it with, hey, Rob, you're my brother. Look, I'm doing this business. I am not trying to recruit you, but I need your help for a few minutes. Could you just give me feedback on the message that I'm trying to relay to my prospects? I'm going to talk to you as if you're a prospect. I'm not trying to sell you. I don't want you involved in the business. I just want your feedback. Does it make sense? Is it clear? Is it something that you think other people are going to understand and potentially be attracted to?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way I will typically engage friends and family in the business. Otherwise, I mean, if they want to come into the business, and I had this happen with a friend one time, we were talking about it. I was excited about the new business I had gotten involved in. And she's like, I would never do anything like that. And I told her, I said, I would never try to recruit you into a business like this because I don't think you should, because, there's a certain personality, there's a certain, gumption that you need to pursue the business. Well, a couple months in, I was having a pretty good level of success. She comes back around and she's like, hey, I want to get involved in your business. And I said,
oh my gosh.
I said, no. No, you cannot even convince me. As like, well, why can't I get involved in your business? And I tried to explain to her why. And she kept pushing and pushing. And finally I said, all right, well, if you really want to be involved in the business, it's your choice. But, you either have to follow the business or, don't let this impact our relationship. And it turned out, she got involved in the business, ultimately ended up doing nothing, kind of as I expected.
Right.
Didn't impact the relationship at all because I wasn't pushing for it. That wasn't me. That was her choice. And it was also her choice to go, yeah, this isn't for me. And I'm like, yep. And that's okay. So,
See, and
moving on.
you brought up a couple of great examples. And that is an excellent point. Guys, there comes a time when you're building your business that people will be attracted to you and want to join your business. And I've done the same thing she has. I've denied people. I remember one doctor, he at the end of a live presentation that we did, he would not leave until I signed him up. And I said, well, I don't sign people up at presentations. This is an informative show. It's not about recruiting people, because some people use those things to recruit people, using motivational techniques and all that stuff. And what we were doing is providing, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is what's going on. This is how it works, blah, blah, blah. End of presentation. And it worked wonderfully for us because people loved, like you did not put pressure on her. We did it. And you know what? We did the presentation so well, people liked what they saw and they wanted to join. And you know what we told people, Miss Marie? And this is not about presentation. We said, get with the person that brought you here if you have questions or if you want to join. And he refused to leave. So I know the feeling. I ended up signing him up, not there, but made an appointment to go to his house later. But man, he was dog determined, that he was going to sign up, by golly, whether I liked it or not. So I've definitely been down that road, but she brought up a good point, guys. Look, here's the thing. Really what this episode's about, and we did get off on a little bit of a tangent, but not really, because all the things we talked about are relate to the topic of today. Look, your family's either going to support you or they're not. Your friends are either going to support you or they're not. And your friends and your family will watch what you do. And if you're successful, you'll be amazed at how those people will come up and they'll say, hey, tell me about your business. Okay. Now that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is, the reason we use that example is because if you're not getting support from your friends or family, but you have a strong enough spine to stand up on your own and saying, I'm going after my dreams and this business model anyway, and you have success, people will be attracted to you and prospects will start coming out of the woodwork. Okay. That is the result of you taking control of your future, despite the roadblocks that your people that are around you, friends and family, put in front of you. And they're going to put these roadblocks in front of you, threatening to say, well, if you do that, our friendship's over with. Or if you do this, this is going to put stress on our relationship. Or if you do this, and there's going to be all kinds of roadblocks, just like they put up those barriers on a road. And your path to success is right down that road. It's a straight path, but you got these barriers put in front of you and your ultimate goal, which is at the end of that road. And your friends and family are putting all these roadblocks there. You're going to have to make a decision how many of those roadblocks you're willing to go through to get to your success. Additionally, Miss Marie, we need to clarify, a roadblock is not your job in the hours you put in. That is your responsibility. I said earlier how I respected my wife's input at the time, and I did not put our family in jeopardy of a financial mistake or anything like that, because my wife asked me to reconsider, which I did. Now, that wasn't a roadblock. That was a decision on my part to support my family, okay? And I'm not saying that was right or wrong. That was right for me in hindsight at that moment, okay? But the point is that your job is not a roadblock. You have to make a living. The hours you put in at your job is not a roadblock. Miss Marie, I know that there's been many a time that your people have come up to you and say, I love this business, but I've worked 10 hours a day at work, or my job is a barrier. And they'll use that as an excuse. And in their mind, it's totally legit. And I get that. I don't knock people for making that. You know what I tell them? I say, hey, well, if you ever decide to do anything of any worth, whether it's franchising, network marketing, starting your own business in your garage, guess what? You're going to have to work around that job, and you're going to have to work around those hours. I didn't say, well, network marketing have the duplication process and the leveraging capability that will help you get away from that job. I don't do that. I'd say, you know what? You're right. But here's the thing. If you decide to do anything of any worth, you're going to have to do it on the side. You can't give up your job. You can't give up your income. Okay. You have a family to support. You have a life to live. Okay. So if you decide to join a franchise, do a franchise or start a business out of your garage, guess what? You're going to have to manipulate your timetable. You got 24 hours like everybody else. And guess what? Everybody finds a way to make the time work. Right, Miss Marie?
Yep. Anything of any value is going to require time and effort. There's just no way around it. It takes hard work. Anything of any value, whether it's a relationship, a job, a hobby. I mean, we don't start out doing anything perfectly. We have to invest the time and effort to become proficient at it, and we have to work at it.
That's right. And we have to refine the time, which means what? Time management, which we had an episode about last week, I think it was. And go back and listen to that episode. It's all about time refinement, which means time management. And you say, what do you mean by time refinement? Meaning that as she just said, you make a commitment to your future, you have to find the time out of the 24 hours you have on this earth to not only maintain your job and your income, but now to add whatever it is that you're going to add to it. And that means you have to refine the time, meaning you look at what you're doing throughout the day and say, okay, I'm not going to sit on the couch drinking beer. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. Well, you're refining that timetable that you're, the time you're putting in front of that TV drinking a beer. Nothing wrong with drinking a beer or watching TV, but it takes away from what, Miss Marie? The time you have available to put into your future. So you have to refine that timetable in order to free up that time so that you can take those moments you were in front of the TV and now apply it to what you want to pursue. Okay. It's no different if you go hunting or fishing, or if you we go bowling, on and on and on. I mean, there's 1,001 examples. That's not the point. And you have to determine, Miss Marie had her sacrifices. I certainly had mine. And you know what? Miss Marie, when you put things off right now, say you and I are in our 20s, we run into a business opportunity, whether it's network marketing, franchising, that catches our attention. And we've got a burning desire. Man, I really like that. I want to go after that. Miss Marie, we have to, whether we're 20, 40, 60, whatever, put blinders on and pay the price and refine our time, become really good at time management, because the payoff is this, Miss Marie. At the end, more times than not, you're going to get your time back. And you're going to have so much time that you don't know what to do with it all. Miss Marie, you look at you and I have more time, even though I'm really busy, I have more time to do whatever I want than I've ever had, because you know why? I paid the price in the beginning. I put blinders on. I used time management. I refined the time that I had. I fine-tuned it to where I freed up time to do what I needed to do to get to my goal, which ultimately gave me the freedom I wanted. You got to pay the price, as you said.
Yeah, and people need to understand, Rob Cootie is not busy because his time is being dictated by a job or by someone else. Rob Cootie is busy because of his goals, his dreams, his aspirations, the things he wants to accomplish.
That's right. Well put. That's exactly what it is.
Rob is driving his schedule. Rob is busy doing the things he wants to do. Mm-hmm. If Rob wants to take a vacation or take a day off like you did this weekend and you go shooting with your buddy, you have the ability to do that. You are not constrained by someone else's timetables, requirements. It's there. We just have to get to the point where we make the sacrifices on the front end to achieve the things we want on the back end. And time freedom is one of those keys. You cannot jump from having a 40, 50, 60 hour a week job, adding a business building effort, and go from, having a 60-hour-a-week job to having all the time freedom in the world overnight. That's
if it does, let me know how you did it.
yeah. Let me know where you found that genie in the bottle.
That's right, because we're going to bottle that and we're going to sell it. We'll make a fortune. You're absolutely right. That's a very good point. But, to summarize, Miss Marie, once again, guys, all the things we talked about, if you go back and listen to this episode, you'll see that these things we talked about do correlate to the subject matter we're talking about, because it's all about the decision-making process, about the roadblocks that your family and friends can bring your way. And all the other things that we talked about were a result of making decisions, whether to pursue that goal or to stay where you are. In other words, allow those roadblocks to stop you dead in your tracks. You are the one that determines. Our episodes are not designed. I'm sorry, guys. I had that terrible sinus going on. But our episodes are not to be divisive between you and your loved ones. Our shows are not here to convince you to do what we want you to do. Our shows show both sides of the table, or the coin, if you will, so that you can make a decision on what you want. This episode is very important because you're going to have roadblocks, whether it's people that have good intentions, that love you, that want to keep you from getting hurt or losing your money or losing your reputation, whatever the case may be, on any business. I don't care if it's network marketing or not. That's not the point, really, of this episode. Additionally, you're going to find out about yourself. If you're going to say, you know what, this is worth pursuing, I can see where I'm not going to hurt my family right now. I'm going to keep my job. I'm going to be professional at my job. I'm going to continue to do a good job at my job. I'm not going to go to work bragging about my business, regardless of whether your business is out of your garage or if it's network marketing or whatever. Don't go to work bragging about it. Go there, do the time management techniques that will fit your goals and your desires and allow you the time, that time management will free up time, which will allow you to pursue what it is you want to pursue. Well, that's all tied into this subject matter. But the two biggest roadblocks that you can run into and the two biggest support units you can have is your friends and family, because they're the ones that are closest to you. They can be the biggest deterrent in anything you want to pursue. They also can be the biggest cheerleader in anything you want to pursue in your life. Look at what parents do for their kids. I know parents that take their kids literally, Miss Marie, from volleyball practice to football practice, from football practice to lacrosse practice, from lacrosse practice to soccer practice. And wrestling practice. It's on and on. The kids do multiple things. Okay. That is time management. I know families that have 2 or 3 kids, and they're literally, once the kids get off school, taking them from one practice to the other and trying to throw supper in there too. Okay. That's time management at the max, right? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? You're helping your children pursue their goals and dreams. Okay. That's their goal and their dreams. And you've made it your life mission to empower them to pursue those things they want to pursue. Okay. Well, it's no different here. You found the time and energy to support them. Okay. The same applies to you. You hope that they in turn will support you, and you'll apply the same focus, the same energy and commitment to your future as well as you have done for them. And it's probably the best example I can give, Miss Marie, when people are supportive, because you can accomplish great things when the people you love are behind you and cheering you on.
That is accurate. And I will sum it up with this statement, which I think I've probably said before. So if it sounds repetitive, good. I'm trying to drive it home. Do not let other people's opinions prevent you from pursuing your dreams and achieving your goals.
That's right. Yes. In other words, do not allow other people to live. No, wait a minute. Do not live your life through other people's eyes. Do not live your life through other people's opinions. Live your own life, but don't hurt the people you love in the process. Don't quit your job, right, Miss Marie?
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw your last penny away, even on network marketing. Okay. Borrow that money from a loved one and keep the last pennies that you have for your family. Okay, don't do that. If you have a family member that's more than happy to lend you the money and say, hey, give me, a year, give me 6 months to pay it back. But I have money, but I just need that money for the family. I don't want to spend that. And yes, we're tight on money and I need some extra. Can you help me out? Do it that way. Don't spend your last penny. But God forbid, Miss Marie, don't spend your last penny on a franchise, on a garage business, or network marketing. Borrow that money somewhere and then start your business. Would you not agree?
Well, you have to be careful about that because I think we did an episode a couple weeks ago talking about when a job is better than network marketing.
Yes.
If you need money now, you need to do the exchanging time for money and have a job.
That's right.
A job. The network marketing business, it's very much front loaded on time and effort before you start seeing that paycheck roll in.
That's right.
Have to understand that and be prepared to work in that reality.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Miss Marie, I think we covered it very well. Do you not think so?
I think we got it.
I agree. With that being said, guys, I hope this information's helped you out. We, as you know, strive to give you information you will not get anyplace else. As we always say, we talk about the good, the bad, and the yes, and in fact, the ugly. And the thing is that we do that to help you out. Today's episode may seem on the surface boring and kind of uninvolving, but guys, think about what we're talking about. There are some of you out there that are strong enough to do it with, regardless of what your friends and family say. For everyone else, this is an important episode. And Miss Marie and I try to cover every angle during this episode, then summarize it in the proper fashion so that you can see both sides of the coin, them supporting you and them putting roadblocks up, regardless of what type of business you pursue. So with that being said, as always, if you will, please share, like, and comment on our various social media platforms. Also, while you're on our YouTube channel, if you will, please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And if you will, register for notifications, which let you know when we go live or upload new content. You can do that by hitting the little bell twice. If you like what you hear and you feel that the information we share with you guys is helpful, please give us 2 thumbs up. Give us a little heart, little dancing bear, and all that other stuff so that we know that's instant feedback for us. It puts a smile on our face and lets us know that we're bringing the content that you need and want, and that really helps us out a lot. As always, if you will, as you can see in the ticker below, and for all of you on the podcast, please visit the website as usual. And you guys have been awesome. I see the numbers. I thank you guys for being patient during this upgrade process. And I always remember I'm on my own. Anyway, go to themlmsolution.net, themlmsolution.net. A lot of great content there. If you will, you go to the new front page. You will see the links directly below the crowd picture. And when you do, that'll give you access to every part of the website. And we'd appreciate it if you'd go there and share it as well. And you can find us on any of our social media platforms utilizing hashtag the MLM Solution, hashtag the MLM Solution. And don't forget about the survey. We tell you that, guys, all the time. themlmsolution.net/survey, themlmsolution.net/survey. You can do just about anything on that page. Ask questions, complain, point out problems with the website, or go to our customer service department with that form. It's that versatile. Yeah, that's right. It didn't sound right, but that is correct. And as always, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, join us live on Facebook and YouTube as we stream an episode with another important information-filled show. Miss Marie, do you know what tomorrow's show is, or is that going to be a surprise?
I think it's going to be a surprise because I don't know what it is.
I thought that was going to be a surprise because I know that you and I were so busy, we did not make out a weekly schedule.
We did not, but I'm sure we'll come up with a wonderful topic. So be sure
absolutely.
11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning.
Well, I'll tell you exactly. And you know what, Miss Marie, you and I will figure it out, and I'll start promoting it today. so that people will know what tomorrow's subject matter is. And we are not normally like that, ladies and gentlemen. We are usually very on top of things. But guess what? I was not Miss Marie's fault. I was in front of the computer when I was not doing anything else. Yes, I did relax. You know what? I was sitting out there, Miss Marie, with my margarita and my laptop working on the website. So it wasn't like I was not doing anything. But I did not talk to Miss Marie this weekend because I was so focused on what I was doing. And so we did not make up this week's schedule, but that's okay. We are good to do things on the fly. All right, Miss Marie, let's get the heck out of here. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with another great fact-filled show. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the MLM Solution Podcast. For more info, visit our website, themlmsolution.net. Please follow us on the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, etc. And share this podcast with our fellow network marketers around the world by hitting the share button on our various platforms.